single day we can wake up and we can give our best. I want to end it with this. I'll never forget, there was a story about two gentlemen that crushed it in business. They did it the right way.
Hey there.
All right, where's the rest of our crew? Michael and Tara, are you in the house? I know Michael's here because I was sitting next to him for a minute.
We're here. We're right behind you.
We're here.
Oh, okay. There you go. Oh, all right. There you go. All right. Well, welcome everybody. I am Melanie Thomas, as Michael just introduced you all. So let's just get the elephant room out of the way. We have to follow Inky Johnson. So that was amazing. We're going to do our best to keep the energy up, but that was truly an awesome presentation. So we're going to have some fun too, right guys? So don't worry about that. So with no further ado, I'm going to introduce our esteemed panel to you here in front of me on the stage here. On the far end of the stage, we have Tara and Michael Houston out of the DC, Maryland, Virginia area. Tara and Michael are co-founders of the Legacy Builders Global Agent Group here at EXP that consists of agents spanning over numerous different states. Their agent group in size is in the top 1% of all the agent groups at EXP Realty. Michael served on the first EXP Realty Agent Advisory Council to the Board of Directors from 2017 to 2019, and he currently serves as a board member for the Prince William Chamber of Commerce. Tara is a global real estate advisor with EXP Realty and also the former and founding state broker of the District of Columbia and Maryland, as well as the former state compliance broker for the state of Virginia. So they've got a robust background in all areas of real estate. So welcome, Michael and Tara. And then over here, Ms. Jill Liebernight. Welcome, Jill. She is our icon agent out of the winter wonderland of Austin, Texas, right?
Woo!
All right, and Jill consistently ranks in the top 5% of agents in Austin, and that's no small feat because I heard there's about 20 million agents in Austin, right? And she has been awarded the Chairman's Excellence Award and named an icon agent here at EXP Realty. Jill is also a master faculty member and a certified mentor here at EXP. So welcome, Jill.
Thanks, Melanie.
All right, so the topic of today's talk, as you can see, is leveraging partners and allies to 5X your business. So I'm going to ask you both, and I'll start with Tara and Michael on this one. Thinking back to the start of your careers, none of us started out in partnerships. We all became agents as solo agents in the beginning, more than likely. So thinking back to the start, what do you recall being your first attempt to start engaging with partners or other people outside of your circle to try to grow your business from that beginning time period?
All right, it's an excellent question, Melanie. I'll just jump on in. And first of all, I just want to say I'm still on fire and on cloud 9 from Inky Johnson's. I don't want to call it a speech, probably more of a revival. That was so powerful. Yeah. So we definitely want to keep that energy going. And thank you for allowing us to speak here. When I think back to the start of our career in real estate and the question you asked as far as engaging with partners and outside entities, I know for me it started actually before I got my license as a realtor. Prior to that, I was a senior loan officer, and even prior to that, my wife and I were real estate investors. That's how we really launched kind of our career in real estate, by being investors. And when I was a loan officer, I had actually joined a local real estate investment club, and the reason why is because I wanted to expand my network of people that I could meet and that had shared goals, whether it be other loan officers or investors, vendors, contractors, things like that. And not only to be able to learn from them and form partnerships with them, but also be able to get brand awareness for what I was doing. And so interestingly, when I got affiliated with that investment club, met a gentleman that is actually an agent with us now, but this is how leveraging opportunities to partner with people and outside entities is so critical in our business. And so my wife, she got into real estate as far as a realtor before I did. She had gotten her license, and I was doing the loans. She was doing she was representing as the realtor. And our niche was working with real estate investors because that's what we had done. And so met a young man in this real estate investment club, they actually had a property for sale. And so we got to talking to him. And actually, my wife and I bought that property. He was actually flipping it. He did a nice rehab. So we ended up buying it, renting it out for several years. It was a great investment. And so one thing led to another. And he reached back out to us because we had a relationship. He liked the way that we kind of handled the transaction. And he had asked my wife to represent him for his next real estate purchase. Okay, so make a long story short, we helped him not only buy that property, but we actually helped his family buy, property that they ended up, moving to the living. So then one day he reached out to me and he said, Mike, I want to get my real estate license. And so I was like, great. And at this time, we had just came over to Exp Realty. My wife had become a licensed instructor in the state of Virginia, pre-licensing instructor. So he actually took the class through my wife, got his real estate license, and came on board with Exp Realty. And this is the only company he's ever been with. Been with the company 6 years. And so the first couple of years getting up and running, then he actually, by his third year, I believe, became an Exp capper. And then after his fifth year, going from non-licensed to, after fifth year, in his fifth year, became an icon agent. And fast forward to today, he's actually started his own team, a formal team, other agents. And so I just say that to say that I just give you that story to say that, going beyond your comfort zone and actually starting to engage with partners and other entities, whether it be an investment club or, another type of group where you can, start to meet people and form strategic alliances can really benefit your business as an agent in ways that you may not even imagine.
Excellent. And just to put some perspective on that time, what was going on at that time, just remind everybody where it was or where you were as far as the Exp agent count when you guys came on board.
Oh, wow. It was the very beginning. So we're over 44,000 agents now. We were agent 105 and 106 in the entire world.
And that's at a time when the numbers meant something because we really knew we were like the agent number 105 and 106 to onboard. I mean, now you may have other numbers, with people that come and go, but agent 105 and 106. So it was very early on. And as Michael said, just leveraging those connections, respecting all relationships as we would meet people in the industry as real estate investors and as, just volunteering at our kids' schools and different places. We respected relationships. We honored people. And we found that, just honoring people, honoring relationships, there's a payback. They won't forget. Keeping our word. If we said we were going to bring the donuts, bring the donuts. So just leveraging every relationship that came our way, we've seen it be productive to our businesses, to answer your question.
Awesome. Thanks for that, guys. And Jill, same thing to you. When you were first starting out, when did you first realize it was going to be critical or beneficial for you to start including some partnerships to leverage your business?
Oh, man. Well, first of all, I want to say Michael and Tara, wow, 105 and 106. I'm agent 735. So I'm in the house with royalty right now. But fantastic story, Michael. And I agree. We're coming off of just an unbelievable presentation from Mr. Johnson. And it reminds me yet again, in this EXP world that we are in, this company and the work that we do as humans, everything that we do, we are made for connections. We are made for connections, and we just connected today from all over. I'll ask everyone to just type in where are people from in the world? I mean, literally in the physical world. I love it when Canadians start typing in where they're from. Connecticut, look at that. I love it. Virginia. Oh, I moved to Texas from Virginia. So we are made for connections. And, one of the things that I love more than anything, I love seeing all these lists, is teaching in the cloud. I'm one of the icon teachers here at EXP, and one of the first exercises that I do, other than asking people where they're from, and I love seeing the list continue to spread here, is asking people how long they've been in the industry. So how long have you been in real estate? and I'm going somewhere with this, Melanie. How long? Type in how long 18 years. Look at that, Kathy. 7 years, 10, 2 months. Patrick, 2 months. I love this. 1 year. Okay. The experienced agents in this room and the new agents in this room, I want you to think right now, when you first got into the business, isolate yourself, or did you work your buns off to connect with people? Did you find if you're a new agent, did you find people that were more experienced than you to follow and learn from and connect with and ask questions and get help from? New experienced agents. Fee, I know you and I are 16 years in real estate, and I see we've got some here 20 years or more. Do you ever forget what it was like to be a new agent? We all started out needing connections, working to get partners and allies. And honestly, Melanie, I feel like connections, partners, and allies are a foundation for business growth at every step when you're a new agent and you're a growing agent. And that's something that I know you and I were chatting yesterday about this panel, and I feel like after 16 years, I'm going through a whole nother explosion of understanding and discovery of the value of getting outside of your sphere, getting outside of your bubble, and developing, deeper strategic partners, they might call it, or relationships with agents. I'm deeply committed with our Austin Board of Realtors Association and very involved in the diversity committee. And they challenged us last year on the committee to get involved with our strategic partners, like Women Council Realtors, the National Association of Gay, Lesbian, and Bisexual Realtors, the Asian American Real Estate Association, like all of our, what NAR calls our strategic partners. And just this effort of getting out and connecting has expanded my business growth and business relationships in a way that I never imagined. I was able to identify new leaders in our community that are now serving as board of directors at our board of realtors. It's led to, there's just basic things like, referrals. Here in our EXP world, we've got one EXP, and they've been, connecting people in new areas and spheres in a way that I've just never seen. And all of a sudden, people are collaborating in totally different ways. So, there's a lot of the old school collaboration and partnering and leveraging new allies in terms of lenders, title people, all of the tried and true business development stuff. But I feel like in this past year, I've just seen this beautiful, wonderful explosion of people really stepping outside of their bubbles and getting to know new people, and identifying new leaders and new ways to collaborate. So, okay, clearly Mr. Johnson inspired me, so I'll stop rambling.
No, that's perfectly fine. Thank you. I'm glad you brought up diversity. We're definitely going to circle back to that later on. But you did talk about strategic partners. So what I wanted to ask, as realtors, we're always giving out, right? We're always giving business to others. Like you mentioned, lenders, title companies, contractors, you name it. We're not always getting reciprocal business in exchange or back from that, right? So do you, both of you, and I'll go back to the Houstons on this one, did you make that a part of your business, and can you give some tips to other agents who feel that maybe they're not leveraging those relationships or making them as beneficial as they could be? Or do you advocate giving business to people who are not necessarily giving it back to you in the same way?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'll
Yeah,
Terry,
go ahead,
you wanna
Mark.
go?
No, go ahead.
Okay, I'll share with you something I learned from a buddy of mine in college that was a eye-opening lesson that I incorporated right away. That was probably the single most important thing that I know we've done to grow our business from a standpoint of leveraging relationships with strategic partners, lenders, title companies, really any type of strategic partner. So we were at an awards banquet for our Realtor Association. This was, several years ago, early into our real estate career. And so Friend of mine who I've known since college. You know, he was a lender and he was our go-to lender for many years. He's actually our financial advisor now. And so he came to me, we got to talking, and we hadn't done any business together in real estate. He said, Mike, you know, good to see you, etc. He said, man, we need to connect. So I'm gonna call you. We need to get together. You know, I want to, you know, definitely learn more about you and what you're doing with your business. And so we went out to lunch. And a lot of times when, and we're guilty of this as agents too sometimes, but a lot of times when, you know, we're invited out by, you know, lenders, title companies, etc., it becomes sometimes it can become a one-way conversation where you feel like they're just trying to get something from you. So, but he, and you want to write this down. I encourage you to write this down. Somebody once told me no takers are money makers. So I think this right here will definitely help you in that area. He said, Mike, he said, how can I help you? I said, what are your goals? He said, how can I help you achieve your goals? I want to know, how can I help you achieve your goals? He said, I want to learn more about your goals. And he asked questions. You know, the person who asks the questions controls the conversation. So he asked questions not talking about himself and his services and his rates and his loan programs, but he was genuinely interested in learning how he could help me, you know, my wife and I, with the goals that we wanted to achieve in real estate. You know, income goals, growth goals, things like that. And not only that, he followed up with some concrete things that we could do together. So we actually started, he was a seminar speaker. He would, you know, do a lot of home buying seminars. So he said, Mike, I want to bring you in to be my realtor partner. You know, I have a title company. I want to bring you into my realtor as a realtor partner when I'm doing these home buying seminars. He had a whole system in place. And just to make a long story short, when I look at all of our settlements, been in this business for 14 years, I can account for 20% of our settlements coming either directly or indirectly from the relationship that we had with that one person. But just from referrals and repeat business alone, that started from the relationship with him. And so one of the things, so I picked up on what he did, and that's something that I still do to this day. When I want to meet with somebody, even when somebody calls to meet with me, I generally want to find out, how can I help you? Tell me about your goals. Tell me about where you want to be over the next year, whether it's a lender, title company, home inspector, you know, contractor, whomever. And I always want to be the first one to give a referral. You know, I make it a goal to try to get that person a referral before they give me one, because the harvest is always bigger than the seed. So if I can sow into the relationship first, generally look to help that person achieve their goals, I tell you, it's done wonders as far as our business, as far as growing our business, helping our sales business, and even our, you know, agent growth business. But that one principle of being genuinely interested in wanting to know what their goal is and helping them to achieve their goals, I mean, the harvest is always bigger than the seed. So that's a principle that's really helped us.
And I think piggybacking on that, as you all can see, Michael is the storyteller and I come in and provide the summary. Zig Ziglar said, if you help others get what they want, you're going to get what you want. So trying to figure out what others want and how you can help them accomplish that without expecting anything in return has been very favorable for us. And, you know, we talked about earlier how we have a mission of building legacies, and we're Legacy Builders Global, our agent partner group. And we really mean that. We try to embody that. We try to live that out, because our goal, we used to be helping, what did we used to be, Michael? Helping renters become homeowners. Yeah. And homeowners become successful real estate investors to build legacies. Then we dropped that and we said building legacies through home ownership. Then we dropped that and we said, let's just say we're going to build legacies, because everyone, I don't care if it's my nail tech, she or he wants to build a legacy through that thing that they're doing. So our goal in life in general is to help people build legacy. So whatever we strive to do, we want to do that. We're going to get ours in return. And we do, you know, we find that sometimes we do refer more business to someone who refers it back to us. But at the end of the day, it comes back full circle in some other form. So it's all about that giving. Give first, givers gain. And, you know, having that understanding that if it doesn't come back directly, oh, it's coming back. Trust me, we're living witnesses of that.
That's great.
Absolutely.
Okay, so you take it from that standpoint that as long as you're always serving and giving, it's going to come back, whether it's from that source or another, it's going to pay off one way or another. Pretty much.
Absolutely.
All right,
Absolutely.
Jill, has that been your experience with that, dealing with those quote unquote strategic partners, or have you taken a different tag on that?
Absolutely. Sorry, I was taking notes. Like, I have a theater background. I gotta say, Michael and Tara, you've got a show. Can I be your producer? I want to produce the Michael and Tara Houston show because you just said it all. Absolutely. I think givers. I liked what Tara said. Givers gain. And stories are important. You know, in anything that we do in business, when we're developing relationships with people, asking, how can I help? Tell me your story. What's important to you? Build rapport, get into relationship with people so that you can figure out how you can serve. I think, you know, we all know that we're in a service industry here as realtors. And you know, let's take those skills that we gain in serving our clients with home ownership needs or investment needs and figure out and continue to build that type of service-oriented relationship building with our fellow peers. I tell the story often. Some of you might know Elizabeth Riley. She's a fellow agent at Exp Agent here in Austin, Texas. And when we were at our previous brokerage, the red and white brokerage, you know, I was struggling to really kind of break through to the next level. And I have a background in theater, and I my husband's a filmmaker and a playwright, and I was breaking into video for real estate. I was one of the early adopters of video marketing in real estate. And I decided, well, I know a lot of agents are really scared of making videos, and it's something that's easy and fun that I enjoy doing. So let me go out and find other agents that might have more listings than I do and maybe create some videos. I will credit them in their any of the marketing that they are the listing agent, but that was the beginning of what is now, I feel like, one of my greatest strategic partners in real estate, which is my dear friend Elizabeth Riley, because I reached out and asked, hey, can I make some videos of your listings? And that was something that was helpful for her at the time for several of her listings. And it just reminded me at that moment, reach out. You never know what strengths or talents you might have that somebody else might need, and you can serve them, help them grow their business, as Michael was talking about, help serve them first, and you get great returns in the process. So I don't know if that's anything different from what Michael and Tara already spoke about, but just we're in a profession where we have so much creative opportunity. There's such a wonderful variety of ways that we can work real estate. So unleash your creativity. You never know what way that you might be able to work this, but by teaming up with people, by collaborating with people, looking around and identifying agents that you want to emulate, or they're working in a style that you respect or would like to grow into, and find ways to be a part of that, what they're doing, and serve them. And it could grow into something, wonderful and beautiful in your growth journey as well.
And Melanie, I think that's really powerful, what Jill just said about, we think strategic partners, we think, lenders and stuff, but we are strategic partners. We're at the Black EXP Network Black History Conference. We should be networking with each other. We have the 2,500 people on our workplace group.
2,600 now.
Okay, see, we're growing every day. We should be growing together. We are strategic partners together. I know Stacy Pulliam and I did a Zoom a couple of weeks ago, just talking about getting to know each other. She's in Augusta, I'm in Northern Virginia, just talking to each other. I know I've talked to Fee and Mike Collier. We should be using this network to build our sphere and to really partner together, because we can do it together. So I'm so glad, Jill, that you pointed that out, because I think we're not tapping into our resources. We don't have to look, but so far we have all the strategic partners we need right here.
Absolutely, 100%. And I'll just add on to that, as a white woman, you know, I spent years being afraid of collaborating with strategic partners that were outside of my story. And this past year taught me that I have something to give as an ally. And sometimes that's just listening and not talking and supporting. But that journey has led to extraordinary discoveries in the past several years with reaching out within my realtors. But I just think we shouldn't look at other realtors as competition, but opportunities to collaborate.
Absolutely. And I think that the company that we work for is uniquely positioned to do that because we are all one national brokerage. And so it makes it a lot easier to share and collaborate than in some other places that you might have mentioned before. So, Jill, I'll stay with you on that. You talked about your background in theater, right? So, and Tara just touched on, you know, strategic partners are also within, not always external. So, talking about 5Xing your business and all of that, how have you both used, or Jill, I'll start with you on this. Like if you're putting on a play or making a movie, right? That's a total collaborative effort. You have the star, you have the creators, the artists, but you also have somebody has to do the lights and somebody has to hold the cue cards or whatever, right? So in your business, in order to get it to a certain scale where people are trying to go, how have you leveraged internal partners or team members or admins to kind of, so you could stick to the creative and all the other high level things while still growing and scaling your business? And how have you used those partnerships internally with staff or team members or admins?
That's a great question, Melanie. Great transition. I'm a classically trained actor, singer, dancer, and I am working on a show right now. And all of my formal education was in theater, stage, and in every, you know, college program and professional theater program that I was a part of. First and foremost, you know that there aren't stars. I mean, yes, let me rephrase that. There are certainly divas on the stage. However, a properly trained theater person knows that it's a team sport. And those of us who are experienced realtors also know that it's a teamed sport. We don't get to the closing table without the full team and effort. And it's a baton pass. So I think, you know, early on, I brought a lot of those same feelings and thoughts that I had about the teamwork of putting on a play into my real estate business. So it was all about, hey, my talent is going out and talking with people and helping negotiate them to the confidence to make an offer on a house or to sell their home. But I also have an extraordinary team that has different skills. Like I call her my client concierge, Hannah. She knows spreadsheets. I mean, when I ask her to do a spreadsheet, she has a song for the spreadsheet. Now, I mean, I love a good spreadsheet, don't get me wrong, but her talent and skill is looking at a complex problem and finding a spreadsheet for it or a system. So I would say just recognizing what your talents are and finding others that fill the areas where you lack, and then celebrating the whole team, celebrating the lender, celebrating the title people, celebrating all the people on closing day or throughout the process, you know, delivering and communicating respect for the role that they play, giving them, like, something that I do a lot with my team is they don't always get to, you know, they don't get to be at the closing table. They don't get to be a part of the story and the tears and sometimes the beautiful, meaningful moments that happen that I get to witness. So I always make sure that my team, whatever role they play, they get to hear and be a part of that meaningful story and know that they played a role in getting to that point. So I've got a transaction manager, as many of us do. I've got a client concierge, she does a lot of assistant work, but I leverage lots of different people to handle different stuff so that I can focus on the things that I do well. And just work really hard to celebrate and include people in the full journey in witnessing the accomplishments that we make together. Is that helpful?
Absolutely. Fully understand that. That makes perfect sense. So Tara and Michael, same thing for you. You guys have a large group of agents that you work with. What would you say to people or agents who are afraid to either because they don't want to let go and delegate because they're control freaks, or they just don't want to, take on the cost of adding on? How might they be holding themselves back by having that mindset?
Right, excellent. This is an excellent conversation to have because I think we've all been, guilty of it. I know I have as well. Just being entrepreneurs that we all are as real estate professionals, and providing a certain level of excellence in service. We feel like we're afraid to let that go because they may not be able to show a house quite like I can, or write an offer like I can, or what have you. But in order to scale your business and grow, it's going to be important to develop and surround yourself with people that that you can trust and have those relationships with, where you can start to let go of some of those things that you may traditionally do in order to grow and scale your business. There's an African proverb that says, alone you can go quick, but together you can go far. So alone you may be able to go quick, but in order to have a sustainable business that is continuing to grow and expand, it's going to be important to galvanize, people, and surround yourself with people that can assist you, and you don't necessarily have to form a formal team. The beautiful thing about Exp Realty is you can have agent partners, and even if you don't, you can utilize showing assistants to help you show properties. Because just imagine, and this is something that we were forced to do, my wife and I, because our business started to grow exponentially just through referrals and repeat business after a number of years in the business, that we had to start to leverage. We had to start leveraging ourselves. Okay, but you want to start doing that early, not when you have an overflow of business and now you're trying to put the pieces of leverage together. So you want to start early. So when you get to the point where you have 5 buyer clients that need to go out and see houses on a Saturday, I mean, you can only be in one place at one time. What are you going to do? So one of the things that we started doing early on is working with showing assistants, people who could go show homes, and they knew exactly what our expectations were, and we compensated them. Home inspections, sitting in on the home inspection, and we would manage the expectation with our clients. They knew exactly who's going to be there, and so everybody was is on board with who's going to be there, how we're servicing you. And our clients really started to appreciate that, because they knew that we were going to be able to service them on their time, and whether we were going to be available or not, they knew that somebody who was working with us, who was an expert, who was a professional, was going to be there to provide a level of service that they were accustomed to getting from us. And so that's really helped us to be able to scale our business by letting go of some of the things that we normally would do, start to leverage through others.
And I agree with that, Michael. Letting go and get out of the way. Sometimes we're just in the way. We want our business to grow, but we don't realize we're the one blocking it from growing. So it goes back to giver's gain. Sometimes you may give up an entire deal. It's not just helping with the home inspection or helping with, sometimes we're finding we're giving more deals away than we're actually servicing. And it's really opening us up to do more things. It's allowing us to do greater in the industry, to help people build legacies. We're able to do it at a greater level because we're giving up more. And the people we're giving the transactions up to are growing, because now they're having production, they're having, they're learning, they're having successes, they're excited, they're more engaged. Even within our group, things like, building collaboration in groups. We have groups within our groups. We have the Dream Team. I know you all have heard of that awesome group.
Right.
By Rod, 3-time icon Rod Ovi. And he has his own operation going within the Legacy Builders Global. And then we have other groups and teams that are growing and developing. And we encourage that. And we're so excited about it, because it means that we don't have to do it all. We're all working together to build these legacies together. So it's really, really powerful. And I think the biggest thing, once again, is we just need to get out of the way sometime and let it grow. watch it grow and let it do and manifest what it's going to manifest.
Absolutely. I think probably a lot of people need to take that mindset on and, like you said, get out of their own way. So one of the things that obviously, unless you've been living under a rock, everybody knows that EXP is expanding exponentially, and not just here within the States, but also globally, right? So we're talking about partnerships, and I'll start with the Houstons on this one as well. What have you found the value of leveraging global cultural expansion in the world of real estate, and more specifically, how we have now expanded into all these new countries? Have you guys tapped into that? I know you are doing some international real estate work, Tara, yourselves. Can you speak to that and how others can kind of follow along in your footsteps and try to tap into this new global realm that we are expanding into as a company?
Yes, I'll go ahead and start this one. Yes, I just think it goes back to making all of our contacts count. And as my husband always says, the revenues and the relationships, you just don't know where your global connection will come from. And here's an example. I have been very active in the Women's Council of Realtors. I know Jill gave a shout out to Women's Council of Realtors earlier, and it is a great organization. And I had been very active in it. And through that great organization, just showing up, being friendly to people, respecting relationships, all that I've talked about, I received a referral from someone, and it was a multi-million-dollar, $1 million plus, not multi-million, but $1 million plus referral, which for me was the first one for me at that time. And it was very exciting. So it opened the door for me to get into the luxury market. And it also opened up the door for me to get into global because it happened to be a head person, an executive from a company based in Spain. And it was so wonderful because this particular guy, he was getting set up first. And guess what? He was moving all of his executives and other engineers and other people here, and they would all need a realtor. How exciting, right? But what I failed to realize was I was entering the global market. I was entering the international market by servicing this company based in Spain. So it was great. It was a win-win. But what that allowed me to now do was to expand my territory and expand my connections and market. Oh, I have this great connect in Spain, and now I'm working global. And from that, it just kind of expanded into other opportunities, in that I started working with FIABSI, which is the French acronym for the International Real Estate Federation. And that's probably the premier global real estate organization. So this is just a little aside, you might imagine I was very excited when we had the heads of the top 5 global brands represented. And of course, Michael Valdez was in that. So I was very excited about that when we had that conference back prior to Christmas. But so EXP represented as one of the 5. But the point I'm making is it's all the key people globally in that organization, and just connecting with them, meeting with them, talking to them has been just amazing. So the point I'm making is, I know I've rambled a little bit, but the point I'm making is every relationship matters. And you don't know, it's people who may not speak their language, but I found that many people speak English globally. And so I'm talking to people in Portugal and people in Mexico and different people who want to just interact with us just because they know we're with Exp Realty and we're in this great organization. So just finding ways to get around those who have an appreciation for global is going to be one way to grow our global business. And I know, Michael, you had an experience at NAR Global. I don't know if you want to share that one.
Absolutely. And definitely echo everything my wife said. And, for me, going to the NAR, and that's National Association of Realtors annual conference in 2009, my wife and I went, that's what did it for me in terms of
It was
really
2019
that confirmed for us that we really need to be intentional about growing a global business. And here's why. Even before, several years even before going to that, we, being a co-founders of Legacy Builders, well, our vision was to grow a global agent group and operate in, everywhere EXP, was going to be, in every state, in every country, et cetera. But it really hit home when we went to the NAR conference. This was the first time we'd ever been. I highly encourage you, if you get a chance to go, it's worth the investment to go. We had been in the business many, many years, had never been. So it was out in San Francisco. My wife that year was the president of the Women's Council of Realtors, Nova Metro, here in our local market. So we went to the gala. But thing that really opened our eyes was that NAR, from the trade show and the people that we met, the opportunities that we had to go to, private events and things like that, there was a large focus on global real estate. I mean, agents from all over the world were there, not just the country, but the world, and connected with different organizations like FIABC. We actually had an opportunity, a very unique opportunity, to go to a Brokers Open. It was a private invitation only because my wife was involved with FIABC, to a downtown San Francisco, to a $30 million listing. I'd never been anything like that in my life. $30 million listing, Brokers Open. So the people that were there, it was just exquisite. It was crazy. Matter of fact, they told us that less than 20% of the agents in San Francisco were even allowed, like, I guess, had even seen the listing, been inside or something like that. So we're there, and you had agents from different cultures, ethnic groups, countries that were there. The listing agent was there. The builder, the person who built the property, was there, and we got a chance to just mingle and talk and forge relationships, people who we are still connected with to this day, just from that Brokers Open alone. And it really opened our eyes to how big the world of real estate is beyond our local area, even beyond this country. And then now the EXP Realty is aggressively growing globally. It just really, when I came back from our conference, and really just reorganize and re-strategize our whole real estate game plan to be intentional about growing globally and not just in the U.S. borders. And so that experience really, changed our life and our outlook on our business.
That's fantastic. So FIABC, I would assume you guys would recommend a good start point for anyone who's trying to get some exposure into the global business realm of real estate.
I totally recommend FIABC, and there's pretty much a council in most regions in the United States. And I also would recommend getting your Certified International Property Specialist designation, your CIPS, which is an NAR designation, which starts to open your eyes to it as well. So those two, I think, are must, especially for EXP agents, because of what we're doing globally. And we're being recognized there in the global space. I mean, people are pinging me privately on Zoom meetings that we have for FIABC saying, "Oh, I see you're with EXP Realty. Tell me more." And I'm like, "Where are you from?" And this one guy was from Lebanon. So I'm just saying, they know about us, and we need to get ahead of this thing.
All right. So is EXP Lebanon next? Who knows? But right now,
I don't know. I'm not saying that.
All right. Well, we'll have to ask Michael Valdez if he's in Lebanon, but I'm looking at the list: Australia, Canada, France, India, Mexico, Portugal, UK, South Africa. Am I missing anything? Puerto Rico? I guess, well, that's part of the United States.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not keeping up with it like that.
So that being said, and I'll start with you, Joe, but I want everybody to speak on this because, Joe, you brought up diversity before, and I said I would circle back to it. And listening to what Inky Johnson said about his last part of his talk when he talked about having a value system. So yes, we're talking about making money and all of that. So if diversity, I know diversity sometimes becomes a tagline, or, makes people have an eye roll because they think somebody's about to preach to them about something. But just from a pragmatic standpoint, by exploring diversity and expanding these relationships and going outside of your comfort zone, as Jill, as you mentioned, you had to expose yourself to things that you hadn't done before. it will make you money. We have a phrase we say in the Black Exp Network about diversity making dollars and cents, spelled CENTS, right? Because it just makes sense. Why wouldn't you do that in a world that is becoming global, in a country that is, the demographics are changing? So talk about that a little bit, Jill, about your exploration into just trying to diversify yourself, your ideas, and the people around you.
Wow. Okay. Where do I begin? I feel like we're all in a little bit of a journey right now in this. Our National Association of Realtors has made some positive and dramatic moves forward in diversity, equality, and equity programs and inclusive programs and missions. I know that we're following suit with a lot of, at least in the state of Texas. I'm on this Texas Diversity Committee, and we're working really hard to incentivize, which is strange to even use that word, but incentivize local associations to make this a priority. But I can just say at the local level, we have been on a 3-year journey in our local Austin association to make our leadership reflect our membership. And that's, there's so many layers to that, but, it's involved mentorship. It's involved, celebrating and encouraging and lifting other people up, and some people stepping aside and giving other people a chance for their voice to be heard. It means listening to others that you don't often, have a chance to listen to. But in the end, like I can just say that I've witnessed our local association benefit from a diverse conversation. And I'm witnessing it in very detailed ways by having, if we just look at our the work that we do as realtors. I serve on the vetting committee for leadership, and we realized at one point we don't have brokers on our board of directors. We don't have people that serve the property management community and renters, needing diversity in that realm. It's not always about buyers and sellers and investors, but renters. How do we support home ownership and home needs in our community? And then the efforts that we did to really make sure that we understood the challenges that all of our strategic partners were facing in our community. I think last year NAR came out with the statistics, if they do this once a year, of this home ownership rates for minorities across our country, and it was shocking numbers. Home ownership amongst the Hispanic community and the Asian community in Austin, some of those numbers were shocking. And for all of us to take time to ask ourselves, why is this happening and how can we work together? So to me, it goes beyond dollars and cents. I feel like it's a code of ethics thing. I think we're all called to increase the opportunity for all citizens in this country to have an opportunity for home ownership. And yes, that is dollars and cents. That does, the more people that can realize home ownership, the more people have a voice at the table about, what's going on in our communities. So I think that the biggest thing that helped was just kind of being a little bit more aware of what was going on in my local community. And I agree, Tara and Michael, stepping out, and I love coming to our EXP conferences, but I'm president-elect of Women Council Realtors here in Austin, stepping out and going to like the Texas Real Estate Conference, the National Association of Realtors Conference, and better understanding what's already being done. Like we don't have to reinvent the wheel. There's already great stuff happening at the national level, and we have the gift of being at a company, just our structure is made for global. So if we don't all have like the word global in our vision boards and our vision story for the next several years, we're missing out on an opportunity. And I think there's a place for all of us to really, or maybe it's the teacher in me, I really think that we all should be thinking about what our global story is. I mean, personally, as a realtor, as your own business, what's your story? I love that I have a visceral connection to Michael and Tara's story of legacy building. And I think they don't you feel it when they talk about the story that they are passionate about in real estate? That's easy for them to take that story on the road and talk to people in different countries and communities across the United States, across North America, and across the globe. And I think if we could all better understand what story we want to be living in, we get to be authors of that story. So what story do you want to be living in so that you can better communicate that to a global audience? Because we have the platform here. We've got the platform here at EXP. So how can, are you ready? Are you ready for that stage? Are you ready if you're invited on a panel to chat globally, what kind of story you might want to spread? Anyway, what story do you want to be living in? Yes, I love it. I'm very passionate about that. Maybe that's my theater background, being married to a playwright, but you can be the author of whatever story you want to be in. If it's not exciting and passionate and interesting, scribble it out and start something new, open up a new page. But global is our next decade in real estate. Technology is creating that. It's already happening in the financial world, in investing. And we have this stock option that we're a part of international conversations because of that. So how can you expand that story to be a part of a global dialogue?
Absolutely. That's perfectly said there, Joe. And Michael and Tara, just real quick as we wrap up here, on that same point, maybe from the other perspective, what would you say to agents, maybe Black agents, part of this network perhaps, that feel like they are limited in scope and where they should go and expand to let them know that these opportunities are there for them as well and they should pursue them?
Well, I'm going to make it quick because I know we're wrapping up. I would just say we're already doing it. I mean, we're here at EXP World, at EXP Realty, in EXP World. We're already doing it. And it's more so, how do we see ourselves? We have to really start to see ourselves the way the rest of the world sees us. We're a powerful group of people when we come together. So I think we just need to change our view of ourselves, and then that'll change everything else.
Well said. Michael, any final words before we wrap up?
No, that was excellent. You have what it takes to be an exceptional leader in this industry, a force in this industry, regardless of who you're working with, who you're serving with, who you're partnering with, and just be open to stepping out of your comfort zone to enter into unknown territories or unfamiliar places or relationships that you may not have explored before, because those opportunities can take you to places that you would probably never have dreamt of being. I mean, we've seen it with our business, and we've seen it with our many of our fellow agents. And so just be willing to do that, and and watch your opportunities start to grow, and don't let fear hold you back. Don't let your background or experiences or limited beliefs hold you back. But the world is your oyster to conquer in this business, and you can do it.
Fantastic. Thank you so much to my panel, Michael and Tara Houston, Joe Liebernight. This was fantastic information. It was a continuation of Inky Johnson's talk. Very good information. I know, give me the hook if you have to real quick, anybody, but if there's any questions real quick while we still have the panel here, just drop them in the chat. Let me see. Any questions come in, guys, for the panel? Or open up your mic if you happen to have one, feel free.
Michael, Tara, Melanie, it was an honor to be here with you today. Thank you all. You inspired me.
Thank you, Jill. That's fantastic. I'm glad to hear that. So it doesn't look like,
Likewise, Jill.
Yeah, I was going to say I enjoyed Jill's enthusiasm and the points that were made. I remember seeing Jill in person. She's great in EXP World. She's even more amazing in person. She is definitely.
I swear, I can't wait to see everyone in person. I may hug everyone. My Italian's going to come out a lot.
Absolutely. Hopefully, maybe we'll have Exp Con in real life this year. Who knows? We never know. Cross your fingers. So everybody give the panel a hand. Thank them for sharing their wonderful insight with you. Let's give them a little F4 clap them out here. Thank you, Jill. Thank you, Mike.
That's awesome.
Fantastic. Thank you so much,
everybody.
guys.